What up? Hey, what up? What up? Hey, what up? What up? Hey, what up? Hey, what up?
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Lukegsfieldreview. We are back at it again with another list of Lions draft prospects that the Lions have visited with. Today, we're going to take a look at the offensive linemen that they visited with, and we're going to get right into it. We're going to start off with Tommy Richardson, guard/tackle from Wayne State University. Now, this may come as a shock to some of you to find out that they have went to Wayne State to visit with a player. Yes, I said it, Wayne State. They met with him at the local pro day. As you can see here, he's 6'4", 304. Is a Michigan native from Troy, Michigan. And one of the things that I've noticed about all of the linemen that they visit with, they had certain things in common. And we're going to get into that. Now, in the case of Mr. Tommy Richards, because they don't do a very good job of keeping track of who giving up sacks and who not, I wanted to kind of give a little bit different view of it. And what I wanted to do was point out something particularly about Tommy Richards, which is he's played 33 games at left guard, 6 at right guard, 2 at right tackle, and 2 at center. That's a lot of versatility there, people. And in terms of the film, when I watched the film on him, I was, I gotta be honest, there were some things that I liked and some things that I was like, what are they thinking about? But nonetheless, they visit with him at the pro day. Next up, we have Demetrius Knox, offensive tackle out of Ohio State, 6'4", 312. So here's what I figured out about him. He has played offensive tackle. He's played offensive guard. He had one season where he had I want to say it was an ankle where he had a significant injury that put him out for the season. Let's put that out there. But nonetheless, when I watched the film, I saw some things that I definitely liked. And I saw some things that, again, I was very concerned about. So not the most polished person, but there is a particular trend the Lions have been shown in this prospect. And as we get into the other prospects, we are going to dig deeper into that trend. Next up, we have offensive tackle, possible guard Jonah Williams out of Alabama. And I say possible guard because Jonah Williams played tackle at Alabama, and when asked about him being switched to guard, he had this whole thing where he was like, I feel like a tackle, I want to play tackle. And then I guess he must have talked to his agent, and he goes, but if they put me at guard, I'll play it. Whatever. Here's the facts here, people. He's 6'4", 302. I really wanted y'all to pay attention to the heights and the weights of these players. And the reason I wanted y'all to pay attention to that is because it's a part of the puzzle. And I also want you to pay attention to how they have him listed as a guard on here, even though he worked out as a tackle. So, I mean, it's just funny. The Detroit Lions met with him at the Combine, and they met with him at the Pro Day. Now, in case you are some of those people who like those track meet numbers and all that stuff, here's what it looks like. For me, I can care less about the 40. I can care less about the vertical, the broad jump, the 3-cone. I can care less. I care about this bench press because 23 reps at 225, not bad, but it certainly doesn't mean that he's the most super strong guy. So he's got some room to work on in terms of the lifting part. And when I go through and just take a look at what this expert is saying in terms of the strengths, there's some things that he points out that I'm like, hey, that's good, where it says like good acceleration up to the backside blockers. Okay, that's pretty cool. Lateral quickness, that's cool. Balance to center and sustained base block, man, that's cool too. But when I go down and I look at the weaknesses, and occasionally leans into the edge stacker, and you probably thinking, well, what does that mean? It just means that he is he's lunging, trying to get those people out on the edge when he's playing tackle. But if the Lions are bringing him in as a guard, then, there's no need for him to do all that, So again, I would advise you to definitely go and watch the film. And my personal opinions on Williams is he's a decent prospect. I just don't know if his heart is truly at playing guard. Next up, we have Joshua Miles from Morgan State. Again, 6'5", 314 pounds. The dude got some massive hands. But again, he didn't bench press, and I'm not sure why. I didn't find any reasons why, but he didn't. And that is an important stat to me because I want to know, can you move somebody if need be? And so what I did was I went and watched the film on him, and it was a few people he moved, but I don't think they was the best of the best talent. But for the most part, in the film that I saw, this is an intriguing prospect. I mean, his ceiling is high for boom or bust. I mean, it really is. And one of the things that jumped out to me was, why would the Lions look at him? And then I did some more research and I found out some things, and I'm gonna give you that at the end of the video. But here's what I can tell you about him. They met with him at the East-West Shrine game, and they met with him at the Combine. Now, in my opinion, I did not tell you the rankings of people like Wayne State's Tony Richards, who I believe will be a mid to late round draft pick. Jonah Williams obviously is going to be a first to second round draft pick. And then Knox is going to be a third to, I'm going to say, fifth round draft pick. He's somewhere in that area. Well, Mr. Miles is going to be somewhere between a second to third round draft pick because he has some things that I think a lot of teams respect and they like. Now, this is the thing that I look at where it says the frame should easily carry additional weight and muscle. Okay. But this is the most important. Plays with desire and initial quickness out the stance. And that to me is the most important thing because that's what I saw on film. When the ball was snapped, he came off quick. But where it says impressive athletic ability in space, they did a lot of pulling with this guy. So again, you just got to go and watch the film. Please don't take my word for it because I'm not the authority. I am simply here to stimulate the brain so we can do our research. But in terms of the weaknesses, below average power as a drive blocker. And what that is talking about, are you able to move people? And this is why that bench press is so important to me when it comes to those offensive linemen and those defensive linemen. I want to know that you got some anger behind those arms to push people out the way. So again, they visit with him at the East-West Shrine game in the Combine. Next, we have Dru Samia. I probably pronounced his name wrong. I apologize. But he's from Oklahoma. He's a guard, 6'5", 305. And immediately when you watch this kid, man, it's a lot to love about him. But again, 28 bench press. Now you may be thinking, well, 28 is not that much more impressive than 23. Oh, yes, it is. It's significantly different in terms of power and being able to do it. And when you watch the film, you can see the difference. I like this kid. I think that he's going to probably end up being a second to third round pick, and he may even sneak into the bottom of the first. When I look at the things that, and mind you, I'm on NFL.com. When I look at the things that they say in terms of his strengths, some of this stuff is just ridiculous. Perfect example, right? Has agility to alter path and track movement targets in space as a blocker. That's pretty decent, right? But then they'll hit you with something that you like. What's the point? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? Has grip strength to sustain and ride the bull. What? I mean, I know what they're trying to say, but it's just like, come on, I know you're trying to be clever and use some terms and stuff that people in football may understand, but it's like, come on. I mean, the truth is, when you look at his weaknesses, and one of the things I'm showing you this is so you can see for yourself some of the things that they're saying for the weakness and see, do you see these things on the film? And that's why I'm so focused on their weaknesses. It says, despite flashes of power, core strength, and body control needs work. I mean, you got to see that on the film. Needs to do much better job of synchronizing hands and feet to stay in front of opponents. when I watched film, I didn't see those problems. I really didn't. When he got you, you was got. so that's just me. But again, I'm giving this to you for you to go and look at these types of weaknesses and watch the film and see, do you see these same things? So, Mr. Dru Samia, again, if I'm botching his name, I apologize. He was visited at the pro day. Okay. So, he's the guy that they're definitely looking at. Next up, we have Nate Davis, guard. He's out of North Carolina, Charlotte, 6'3", 316 pounds. The dude got some long arms, people. And it's going to be a reason for it. Now, again, 23 bench press. Keeping in mind, I don't really care about the other stuff. I know some people do. I can make a case for all the other information, but for me, I'm simply wondering about the power. Can you manhandle somebody? All right. And when we go through, we look at some of the things that they have for his strengths. Like wide, thick bone frame. Come on, people. The thing that I look at, like strength and movement skills pair with any run scheme. Yeah, because when I looked at the film, I certainly saw that he has the run blocking ability. But when we go and look at the weaknesses, and again, you have to be the one to look at the film. Right here, needs greater urgency to step and help secure leaky edge and pass pro. I didn't see those types of weaknesses. Maybe I didn't have the right film that these people had, or maybe they saw something different. But nonetheless, the one thing I did notice was this: will drop his head into contact and allow weight to drift too far forward on second level. And what they're meaning by that is he's not identifying the target. And so a lot of times he would get to the second level and it's like, what are you looking at that you didn't get that guy who's right there in front of you? So again, you go and watch the film. Okay. You watch the film and you tell me what you saw of this player. But I can tell you this much. Okay. I can tell you this much. They did visit with this guy at the pro day. And what stood out to me about that particular visit is that they spent a good amount of time with this particular person. So just food for thought, just pointing it out to you that, this is a prospect that they're looking at, and I'm going to give you the trends because we're almost there. Next up, we have Oli Udoh. I probably pronounced his name wrong, from Elon. He's 6'5", 323. He played offensive tackle, people. And one of the things that jumped out to me again was, first, let me go back and show you it because I want you to see it. He has some long arms, people. So he still got 26 bench press up. And so those type of things are important to me. And I like to see that. When we go and take a look at his strength, according to this particular writer, size can factor in to favor at point of attack, good rhythm and kick and slide. All good details to have. Carries pop at the end of the limb. All that's cool. Let's talk about those weaknesses, because it's easy to talk about something that's good, but I want to see what the weaknesses are so I can see if I see these on film and I can see if these are real legitimate views. But it says below average quickness and timing and working up blocks. Yeah, tackle. I think if you move him to at guard, he might be much better. It says unable to hit his landmarks on reach blocks. I saw a little bit of that. And to me, but I do understand what the Lions are doing, because when I look at this person, I gotta believe that, again, this is a second to maybe fourth round pick, another mid round guy. And if you haven't quite figured it out yet, I'm giving you the pieces to the puzzle for these trends and patterns that I'm seeing. But they visited with him, like I said, they visited with him at the combine, and I did not see anything in terms of them going to his pro day, but he's on the list. Last but certainly not least is Ben Powers, Oklahoma guard, 6'4", 307. Let's see, 21 bench press. Again, he didn't do the other exercises. This their right, their prerogative, but the 21 bench press is very concerning for me. Nonetheless, I'm telling you, you're going to stay with me. I'm going to give you what I've seen. Now they says that in terms of some of his strengths, I'll just give you a few. Operates with square pads and possesses solid body composure and contact balance. I mean, great. Weaknesses: top heavy. Carries disproportionate amounts of mass from his waist up. Struggles to get his hips snapped under him to secure the blocks. I mean, some of this stuff, y'all gonna have to just go and look at and see if y'all see it. Here's what I can tell you right now, people. Okay, when I watched the film on the guy, I was okay with what I saw. I thought that, yeah, he could certainly use some refining. But again, this is another one of those guys who are 3rd to 4th round pick. And here's the trend that I noticed in terms of the people on this list that they took a look at. All right, and here's my overall view. I wanted y'all to pay close attention to the following. There are 3 things that I've noticed about the linemen in this group particularly. 1, they were athletic. And what I mean by that is they can move, people. They were smaller build that can move. People that can pull, you know, that's roughly around that 300 to 325 area, in that range. But they generally want them to be a little bit more athletic. The second thing that I've noticed with this particular group were they were mid to late round picks. These were, you know, minus Jonas Williams, they were looking at mid to late round picks for most of these linemen. And then the third thing that I noticed about all these things, majority of them were guards, or they had played at tackle, but they had a high level of versatility to play guard or to play tackle or center. And when I went through and I looked at all these players on the list, every single one of them were able to play all 5 offensive lineman positions. This is called depth, people. And so to me, I just wanted you to pay attention to it and have you, go and do some research to see what you see on the film. So that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I leave you with this great piece of advice. Don't be no chump. Please do your research.